If you are a chess club player, chances are that you have faced the London system, many times even. I don't blame players who opt for this approach for white. It is easy to learn, can result in very exciting, attacking games of chess, and it has been played at the highest levels by the likes of Magnus Carlsen, Aronian, Nakamura, and many others. The London system is especially potent at club level against players who prefer classical play in the Queen's Gambit declined, the Slav defense, and other classical setups where black aims to equalize in the center. White players of the London at club levels can be trigger-happy to launch kingside pawn storms, and inexperienced players who typically play quiet QGD or Slav lines will be inexperienced in this type of play and not know how to react. In today's lesson, you will learn how easy it is to neutralize the London system and frustrate those who attempt to use it against you. Let's take a look at how the professionals navigate it. Black plays as though he is playing the white side of the Queen's Gambit declined, with an early c5 and natural development of both knights. Players who play 1d4 or 1c4 will feel especially comfortable with this approach. This position right here is the first one to store into our memory bank. White has achieved his pawn triangle and also developed both knights. The simplest way forward from here, and the approach that white players will dread to see, begins with first taking on d4. We then play our knight to h5, attacking that pesky London bishop. Did you know that in this position, master-level players and above play this move over 95% of the time? A testament to how effective this idea is for black. Surprisingly, at the club level, white players of the London often don't know how to react, especially in blitz games. The most common club player response to this is bishop to g5, which is exactly what black wanted to see. We hit that bishop again with pawn to f6. He drops his bishop back to h4, licking his lips at what he is seeing. Their chess coach undoubtedly taught them to never push that f-pawn, so he feels he is on top right now. Little does he know that in this very position, black goes on to win in over 60% of games. We bring our bishop out to d6, where it will support our next maneuver. They bring their light-squared bishop out, completing their development, just as their coach taught them to, and now we see the point of black's play. Our steed leaps into f4, simultaneously striking the bishop on d3, as well as the pawn on g2. What an embarrassing situation for white. He retreats his bishop back to where it came from. We simply castle here, and black is already significantly better in this position. The white player shakes his head in frustration. They were hoping for an aggressive game with a wild pawn storm against your king. And if we go back to this position here, club players have also tried this fancy-looking move, jumping into e5 with their knight, which looks crazy at first. The point is that white's queen is now threatening the knight, which would also come with check. No need to panic, though. We just need to avoid losing the knight. We can either move it to f4 or defend it with g6. Both of these approaches are perfectly fine for black. After white exchanges the knights on c6, black has a very easy game, as the black knight continues to be a major annoyance to the white bishops. So let's go back to this position here after white has developed his queenside knight. More experienced players of the London system will be aware of this approach from black and will try to avoid it like the plague. Their approach is simple and cunning. They will delay the development of their knight on f3, as doing so means the white queen guards h5 and prevents the black knight from leaping there. Against this system, we will learn a new setup for black that is equally as effective. We develop our bishop to d6, neutralizing that London bishop. White drops it back to g3, hoping for black to take, which will allow him to open up his h-file, activating his rook against our kingside. Of course, we don't comply with this as black. Instead, we strike in the center. Black is already better here. We have a beautiful knight in the center of the board, which is also hitting white's light-squared bishop on d3. There is no attack here for white. Black has better development, more control of the center, more active pieces, and can even start thinking of his own attacking ideas. If white develops naturally with knight to f3, we can even pin that knight to the queen. We can also activate our rook onto e8, and from here, black has a very easy game. Let's summarize our approach. Quite simply, if black plays his knight to f3 early, this allows us to start annoying his bishop with knight to h5. If he tries to avoid that line by keeping his knight at home, we take that as our invitation to take over the center of the board, and thus taking over the initiative and the game. Well, there you have it. You can now be extremely annoying to players who attempt to use the London system against you.